So once you have this consensus mechanism, I think this offers a great new opportunity to a new kind of a symbiosis between blockchain and AI. So I talked about AI being a major conference of three major trends. I alluded to the computational power, Moore's law, and then possibly quantum computers. I also talk about some new inventions in the algorithm. But what AI needs the most is to have data so that AI can learn. But right now, all data are concentrated as centralized platforms. So there's very little incentive for individuals to contribute data because they basically get nothing in return, and maybe their privacy could even be violated. So I envision the future of the world where the ownership of the data should be completely returned to the individuals. So all my personal data, all my behavior data, all my online data, all my genomics data, all my medical records, everything should be owned by the individual, and the privacy should be completely protected. But then you say, wow, then how can machine possibly learn anything if everybody keeps their secret private? And there is a beautiful thing called privacy-preserving computation. And that will make it possible to have a data marketplace. So I first of all protected all my privacy data, but I can leak information out one bit at a time, totally at my control. And such a world will be a data marketplace. Individually, so it's a peer-to-peer marketplace where individually own their private data, and then there can be a bidding and selling process and very selectively controlled by performing privacy-preserving data marketplace. So such a future world of marketplace based on one principle, which I call in math we trust. And that is possible that that you can still preserve privacy, but still maintain, but still can do computation that only leaks out very, very selectively one piece of information at a time. So the famous problem is called the secure multi-party computation, or a millionaire promise. So obviously, private wealth is very, very private. People don't like to reveal. But there could be so happen that two millionaires want to compare who is richer. But without revealing to each other, if they reveal to each other the wealth they have, obviously they will find out. But it leaks too much privacy data. But there's a computational protocol called Gauss-Gabor circuit that they can exchange protocol. In the end of the day, they only find out one bit of information, namely who is richer, without revealing anything. There's an idea of differential privacy, namely adding noise to private data so that they don't become individually identifiable. But if I want to conduct a collective survey, I can add noise in such a way that in the statistical aggregate, the noise will cancel out. So the statistical information is completely accurate, but not much individual private data has been leaked because there's enough noise that individually identifiable information is not there, but the overall statistical information is still accurate. And then there's also the idea of zero knowledge proof. I can prove to you, for example, that I solved a very difficult game, let's say the Sudoku game, but I want to only give you one bit of information, namely I solved the game, but I don't want to reveal you my entire solution. I want you to keep on trying harder. And this is also possible through the zero knowledge proof. So there's really a world where mathematics will enter economics in a very central way in making a data marketplace possible, so that all of us will own our individual data, and then Google Cloud and all these entities then can compute in a centralized, they can compute useful statistical information without having us to reveal this privacy data. So I really think about this world where both AI and blockchain combined can do great social good in this new era of crypto economic science based on in math we trust. Because when you really think about what's the problem with our society today, it's because there's discrimination against minority, and that is a fundamental of our society. But when you really think about AI learning, let's say if my AI algorithm is already working accurately 90% of the time, but I want some extra data so that I can go from 90% to 99%. The data I need is not yet another kind of data which looks very similar to all the previous data I have seen. I want data which is called to have high mutual entropy, namely the data that's most distinct. And that by definition is owned by the minority. But then in such a data marketplace, I will bid the highest for those data which are most in the minority. So then the economic incentive structure will be aligned. Our society will be value the minority the most. And that's exactly what we need to do social good. So finally, there's a vision that the ugly duckling can somehow become a beautiful swan. Because the ugly duckling is not ugly, it's different. But now difference will be valued the most. Minorities in this fair data marketplace will not be discriminated against. So I really see this wonderful new world in a confluence of three major trends: quantum computing, AI, and blockchain. But I also see myself coming from academia and often in interactions with colleagues in industry, we really can enter a new world where the latest scientific idea is really, really fascinating and totally amazing that these mathematical concepts was purely invented by mathematicians in abstract could turn out to be so useful. So something like number theory, every day when we conduct a transaction using HTTPS, uses number theory in the most essential way. So this is a wonderful new world where collaboration with academia and the industry can really lead to great progress. As I said, the greatest opportunity of making progress is oftentimes see a conference of some major trends before anyone who is in their specialized area couldn't see the overall picture. And I really think that the symbiosis among these three major trends will be the defining characteristic of the future of information technology.